Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Dorlu. Dorlu is from Texas in the USA. So let's see what Dorlu has to say. Enjoy the interview. So hello, Dorlu. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview like that.
Yes. Well, thank you for considering me. I was a little nervous about it at first, but I said, let's try it. Let's do something fun.
Amazing. My God, I love your tattoos you have in your arm.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Most of them have a spiritual significance. Some of them are video game tattoos, just nostalgia from my childhood. So I try to decorate myself with art that really speaks to me,
I see. Which one is the first you ever had, and which one is the latest?
My first tattoo was probably this one right here on my wrist. It says true. And it was from back when I was about 16. It serves as a constant reminder, just whenever I see it, to be true to myself, speak true, just be honest and open with everything I approach in life. And my most recent one, I would say, was probably this one here on my shoulder. And this is actually one of the video game tattoos, but it also has a bit of a spiritual significance. This is specifically from the video game Final Fantasy X. And the shape of it is supposed to represent a snowflake and how each snowflake is individual and unique. So yeah.
I see. So Dorlu, tell me, where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Las Vegas, Nevada in the USA. And currently I am living in Texas right now.
And why the move from Las Vegas to Texas?
Well, I moved from Las Vegas when I was a child, still very young. And I lived with my mother and her family in New Mexico for a while. And then after that, I graduated high school early at 15. So after I graduated, I've kind of become like a gypsy. I travel and roam freely wherever the wind blows me.
Amazing. I'm sure you have a lot of stories to share.
Oh, yes, quite a few.
And what do you do for work, for living?
Mainly, I stick to doing like restaurant jobs. I like being a server, waiter, but I also went to school and got my degree in massage therapy and reflexology. So I take on massage therapy clients and, I help people with alternatives to natural healing and things like that.
Amazing. You know what?
Yeah.
A few years ago, I was working in a spa, and
Okay.
so they were doing massage and also reflexology.
Oh, yes.
And I never heard before that. And it's so interesting and powerful.
Yes, it is. It's, the body has this amazing way to just regenerate itself and heal itself if you have the knowledge on how to properly apply it. And the things that I learned during school and from hands-on experience, I've seen changes in people within myself and many clients that I've had. And it really does truly work, in my opinion. It's such amazing benefits that you can receive from it. And if you continuously practice them, you see your whole life, your whole health, your energy, everything just can grow and become way better than what you've had it before if you were suffering with anything,
Right.
Yes.
Okay, Dorlu, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Oh, yes, I'm all ready for it.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend, okay? From the fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to relax a bit before the first step, okay?
All right. Okay.
Let's do it. Okay, Dorlu, before we start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
Right. first question for you is, what has been the happiest point of your life?
Oh, that's a really good question because there have been so many. But really, the absolute happiest I would say was probably I was about maybe like 15, 16, and I really went on I used to go to a lot of music festivals and concerts, and so my very first one that I went to, it was called Tomorrowland, and just all of the music, the people, the energy, the visuals, it was just such an amazing experience that has stuck with me forever. Just everybody I met was just so happy and positive and very friendly, very open. Like the environment was very calm and relaxed. There was no type of drama. It was just all around just beautiful experience. And just seeing, like I said, the visuals as well, just the work that these people put into the stages and the way they've created their music and to get everybody on the same level and enjoying themselves and dancing. And it was just the most wonderful, awesome time that I ever had.
Oh my God, I had some guests on the show. They've been to Tomorrowland,
Oh,
and it's
really? Awesome.
massive. It's something big.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's a huge ordeal. It's about a 3-day event. And it was some time ago that I went, but the memory is still so vivid in my mind. I replay it all the time.
Amazing. Next question. Question for you is, if someone offered to tell your future, would you accept it or not, and why?
Um, I that's interesting. I feel like I would because I would accept because I'm a very open person. I don't really keep things secret. I don't have, anything to really hide from anybody. I like to be open and honest. And if somebody wants to ask something or approach me about something, I'll happily sit and explain it or communicate about it and, just share it. And hopefully my perspective could maybe change someone else's or, have someone else think in a different way.
You mentioned in the beginning of the interview about being spiritual, yeah? So
Yes.
tell me a little bit about your journey being a spiritual person.
Okay, well, my upbringing was very traditional. I grew up in a very Christian household, but ever since I was very young, I've always had this feeling that sitting in a church and being there just wasn't natural to me. It wasn't where my heart belonged. And when I was very, very young, I've always was drawn to like the different gods and goddesses of history from all over the place and what they represented and what their different energies were. And specifically, the first one, it was Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea. I always thought, wow, this guy sounds really cool. He has a cool name, like he is with the water and the trident. And I was young and impressionable, but as I grew up, I started to dive into it more and really come to understand, how they were worshipped, how they were revered, what cultural significance it had to the Greek people. And from there, I really found my home in that because I see myself reflected in the Greek pantheon. It's even though they are divine beings, they are very human in nature because they don't go to proclaim perfection or all powerfulness or anything like that. It's very relatable to the human experience and the human condition. And with that, that really grew my knowledge of other things as well. And within my family, on both my mother's and father's side, I have various practitioners of different natural paths of like healing women and what we call like curanderas, which are like similar to witch doctor healers and people that use, natural homeopathic remedies to heal you. And I've really just grown that knowledge. I stick truly to the Greek pantheon as the deities that I worship, but I have knowledge in all sorts of different things and how they can relate to what I believe and what I feel. If I come across something that speaks to me in a way, I don't necessarily believe it just right off the bat. I do my research into it first and I see what other perspectives are. And if I can incorporate it into my belief system, then, I work it in fully. So I just like to say I'm more eclectic pagan than anything because I have a great mix of everything together.
That's amazing. I think being open-minded and approachable, you just gain things. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You just,
yes.
for sure.
Yes.
That's what I believe as well.
Definitely, yes.
Next question. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's go.
Before the next question, tell me what's the best part of being a massage therapist, and the flip side, what do you find most challenging?
Okay, so the best thing I find is really seeing people go through the recovery process. I've dealt with people that have been injured from sports, injured from accidents of all kinds, that have had just normal, like poor health issues that they've suffered with, hard workers, all sorts of people. And really being able to provide that help for them and see them feeling better or walking better or sitting up a little more straight, just feeling the benefits that I've helped them with and knowledge that I've shared with them. That really, really just gives me, it's kind of an indescribable feeling, just what it gives me, because I'm using, my knowledge to truly help other people and to really help them feel better and get better. And, even though it is a process, still you can usually see benefits right away. And so many people have been so grateful and thankful to me for the way I've approached them. And I approach very caring and understanding, no judgment of any kind. I've seen both male and female clients. I don't discriminate, against anybody for anything. So everybody that I've been able to help really is just, that's the biggest benefit of it. Just seeing people feeling better and looking better and actually understanding like, hey, I can do this, I can heal myself. And I'd say that probably the most challenging thing is sometimes I'm not able to truly help in the deeper sense, is that some conditions in some cases cannot be cured or healed by my skills or my abilities. There are some things that you truly do need, higher medical professionals for. And I can try to give, my knowledge that I have and try to be sympathetic and understanding. And, it hurts sometimes to not be able to help in that situation. So that's probably the hardest thing, is to come across somebody. And it's been pretty rare when it happens, but it does bother me when I'm not able to help with my level of knowledge that I have.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
Next question for you is, do you have any nicknames?
Oh, I've had so many nicknames throughout the years. It's people have called me Spunky, they call me Benny, they call me D. They've misnamed me. They've called me Dorian and Darren and all different kinds of things. I can't even specifically point out one because, it's everybody that I meet usually comes across, in a different way for me, and they come up with their own little unique nicknames. So yeah, but I've had tons of them.
Dorlu, it's a common name in the US?
No, actually, it's pretty unique. I'm not too sure on the history of it. I've tried to ask my mother about it and like my parents and see, where they got the idea from. And my mother said she read it somewhere and that it just was so unique and different that, it stuck out to her. And I've tried to look up, what the meaning of it is, what the root words were and everything. And I've never really been able to find it. So I feel that I just genuinely have a unique name.
I'm gonna share something personal with you. My nickname, yes, my nickname, it's Dooley.
Dooley, okay.
Yeah, my Of course, my name is William, and it's so interesting because when I was born, everyone came to see my aunts, my uncles, my
Mhm.
grandparents, and one of my aunts, literally on the first day, my first day of life, she
Mhm.
just saw me and she called me Dooley out of
Mm.
nowhere. And
Okay.
from that day on, all my family, everyone, the streets where I grew up,
Yeah.
everyone calls me Dooley until now,
Oh,
like parents.
okay.
And I asked her, like, where did you get that from? And she said, I have no idea. It just came to my mind, and I
Yeah.
just felt like call you Dooley. And that was the day, the first day. So all my family, like friends from my childhood, they call me Dooley.
Oh wow. Well, that's nice. You have a unique name as well. I like that.
When I saw your name, it straight away got my attention because of my nickname.
Yeah. Hey, well, there may be a little connection there. You never know.
For sure, there's always a
Yeah.
connection.
Yes.
Ready for another one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Next question for you is, which bad habits you wish you could stop?
Bad habits. I do have quite a few. I tend to overthink sometimes. I tend to be a little intense with my organization skills. But probably the worst one would be vaping. As I used to be a very heavy cigarette smoker growing up, like for since my teenage years, and I've really been able to quit thanks to vaping, but it's not that much more beneficial because I'm still giving this unnecessary thing into my body. And I've been going through a process recently of trying to eliminate it and wean myself off of it. And so it's been working so far, and I've been really steadfast on it because I really want to just clear up my breathing and my lungs, and I don't need it. And so some days I struggle a bit, some days it's easier, but it's a process, and I feel like I'm making, good way in it for sure.
What's your star sign?
I am a Gemini.
Hmm. When you said about being tense, I thought your maybe could be Scorpio because I'm Scorpio, and one of the
Mm,
characteristics we are very intense.
yeah. Well, one of my signs is Scorpio because I'm a Gemini sun, a Taurus moon, and a Scorpio rising. So
Hmm.
I definitely have some Scorpio aspect with me. Yes.
There's a connection for sure.
Yes.
Next question.
All right. All right. Let's go.
Next question for you is, where is the most exotic place you ever been?
The most exotic place. I would definitely have to say, uh, gosh, all these questions are really good. Um, the most alien I would say was probably Arizona, just going to the Grand Canyon. It's just the landmarks and the structure and the terrain is just so unique and different. And people always think, oh, it's the desert, whatever. I'm like, no, just the way the rocks have formed, all the different layers and how deep it really runs. When I was standing there, it just seems like, you're in an alien world, like you'd be on a whole nother planet. And it just, all you hear is the breeze blowing and just this huge piece of land in front of you as far as you can see. It's truly like very silencing, I would say, because you don't get to really experience things like that on a day-to-day basis.
I see. Very good. Right.
Yes.
I have 3 questions left for you. Let's do it.
Okay. Uh,
Next question is, who
mm,
was your favorite teacher and why?
my favorite teacher. Uh, Probably my first grade teacher. Her name was Mrs. Covington, and she was just the nicest, most friendliest woman. It was I always was so happy and excited to see her. And so being at that age, you're very friendly and very, energetic and everything. But she was, from what I remember, she was just a great, fun, energetic person. And seeing her as I grew up and everything, it took me just to, that nostalgic place in my memory, thinking of being in her classroom and then sometimes seeing her as an adult. And it's like, wow, you haven't changed at all. You're still the same person from when I was little up until now. So it's just all the memories I got from that wonderful first experience of school. She was probably definitely the best.
Did you like school?
Oh, yes, I did. I loved studying. I loved learning, being in the classroom setting, absorbing just the information, having conversations with, my fellow peers and everything. It's very, very good. And now I teach myself, as much as I can. I read constantly. I update my knowledge all the time. Like I'm always of a learning attitude.
Amazing. Two
Yes.
questions left. Let's do it.
All right. All right.
You are a good dancer, I can see.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Dorlu, before the next question, tell me how was growing up as a gay boy? As you mentioned that you're traveling around different states
Mhm.
with your family. How was for your experience being gay?
I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard at first. I think a majority of people can relate because growing up in a small town, like I said, the mentality was very closed off. I was actually one of three openly gay people in the school that I attended, and we had about close to like 3,000 of us in the school. So it was, having to deal with constant bullying, constant harassment. When I eventually opened up to my family about it, my grandmother, she openly accepted me right away. She told me, I don't care about it. I just want you to be happy. You're my grandson. I love you. And it was really like my mother that had the strongest reaction to it. She was very against it. She was very like angry because me being the first child and her first son, she just had that negative reaction. And so we butted heads for the longest time with it. My dad was never an issue. He told me, no, it's okay. I just want you to be safe and be happy. So I did have some acceptance, but it definitely did push a lot of people, specifically family, away from my life. And I had to, I had to fight a lot. I got into a lot of fights with people, a lot of arguments. I've been threatened a bunch of times. I've been beat up. I've dealt with, discrimination within school, but within workplaces as well. And it's been a constant struggle, and it has gotten better. Uh, now I'm 30 years old now, so being able to be more free and see that more people feel freely to open up, despite the current problems that we're facing now, still it's just very how would I say it? It makes me feel very excited and very happy knowing that, I have a place and I'm not necessarily being judged on my sexuality anymore. It's just on my attitude, my energy that I bring, my perspective. It's not just, oh, he's gay, just whatever. And it's like, okay, no, this person's very genuine. He's very open, very relaxed. He's, very nice to everybody. You receive what you give, in other words.
All right. Next question for you is, what is one movie you could watch over and over again?
This one's $1 million question. I have so many amazing movies. Probably the best one I would say is called Gia. It's a movie with Angelina Jolie, and it was based on the first really supermodel. Whenever the modeling agency during like the 70s and 80s was a really big thing. But it was very emotional. It was a very traumatic movie. It was beautifully done, and Angelina Jolie is just a phenomenal being in the world. But the movie, when I first watched it, it hit me so emotionally. And I would just cry at certain spots. I would laugh, and I felt like I could easily relate to everything I saw in the movie. And that's one thing I could just rewatch it over and over again and never be bored of it.
Amazing. Actually, I didn't know about this movie, but actually the other day I was watching an interview with her, and she
Mm,
mentioned about this movie, and I was like, oh my
yeah.
God, that's very interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Let's watch.
It was one of her first movies that she
Yeah,
ever made, and she made
yeah,
such an impact with it. I feel it was wonderful.
amazing. Ready for the last one?
Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Do it. Last question. But before the last question, through your career as a massage therapist, tell
Mhm.
me a moment or situation with your clients that you're never gonna forget. It's always gonna have a special place in your heart.
Uh, wow. I definitely, the first one that comes to mind is I tend to get a lot of elderly clients, and there was one elderly lady that I took care of. She was very like hunchbacked. She had a lot of upper back problems. Her joints were very stiff. Just really going through the process with her, working, from her neck down to her arms, her lower back, her legs, just stretching her out, getting, her joints moving and everything. The way she came in to see me, you could see she was very tight and very like fragile looking. And by the time we went, there was about an hour and a half session that we had. And by the time she left, I could visibly see she was sitting up a little bit straighter. She was able to move, and she got this energy about her, like as if, I gave her 30 plus years of her life back. And she was so grateful. She kept hugging me and kissing my face and just telling me thank you over and over again. And it's just, she was the most amazing lady. I still see her sometimes and communicate with her. So just to see, how much better she's gotten despite, being elderly, that makes it everything I do so much more worth it.
Oh, beautiful. Last question for you is,
All
what is
right.
the scary thing that happened to you?
The scary thing that's happened to me. Definitely, I would say when back in the earlier 2000s, it was quite some time ago, I went to Standing Rock, which was a Native American reservation that they were having this big conflict with the big oil companies trying to invade on their specifically sacred land that they had. And it was a very ugly situation. It looked like a war zone pretty much. And I went with a group of individuals. We went to go deliver goods and rations to the people who were on the front lines defending that place. So we took blankets, like protein bars, tons of water for them to drink. And this was in the middle of winter, so it was freezing cold and awful. And getting there and just seeing how these people were fighting against, this terrible thing that was trying to happen. And it's the way they kept approaching, like people were out there arguing with these police officials. They looked like a military, and the dogs getting at people. It was just very intense and emotionally damaging, like just seeing the fear on people's faces, seeing just how these two sides were fighting against each other and trying to preserve what it was that was, sacred to them, that was part of their history. And just being in that moment, made me realize, like, damn, like, what do I do? Like, how can I help? Like, what is it? I mean, I was afraid and nervous because at any moment, anybody could have been arrested, or we could have been attacked by one of the animals, or something could have, gone terribly wrong. But I found strength in these people fighting for what they believed in. And I said, there's so much more to life, with all of this hatred and everything going on. Like, I want to be on this side to where I'm pushing for people to be understanding and to stand up for what's right and what's good and for my beliefs as well. So it was definitely scary, but it was a very intense and very meaningful learning experience as well.
For sure, for sure.
Yes, yes.
All right, not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Money,
Time.
family,
Love.
and one word for love.
Balance.
I like that. Life,
Energy.
sex,
Passion.
politics,
Evil.
religion,
Peace.
fear,
Nervousness.
friendship,
Compassion.
regret,
Solitude.
desire,
Fire.
success.
Happiness.
One word for happiness.
Joyfulness.
Wish,
Idea.
one word for Texas.
Crazy. For sure.
One word for USA.
Exotic.
And the last one now, massage therapist. One word.
Healing.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, what is the most beautiful thing about Dorlu, and what's something that we still need to work on, to improve on? What he would say?
I would like to think they would say that, I'm very friendly, very open, very caring, that I'm willing to take on anything. I treat everybody with respect and equal compassion. I have a bright, vibrant energy about me. One thing I need to work on is probably my trigger response, because in the moment, if I'm dealing with something, I tend to react a bit irrationally, and I need to control my thinking process and approach it more intuitively.
Do you see some work in progress?
Oh yes, I do. I'm trying to operate from that intuitive perspective now.
Amazing.
Yes.
Let's play now Dorlu and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it.
Okay. Yes.
You can ask me a question now.
All right. My question for you is, what truly inspired you to begin this process of doing interviews and with your show?
Beautiful question. I'll tell you something now, Dorlu. I believe that all of us, we can do different things in life and still be happy. Yeah, we can find different things and we still have pleasure and joy. But I always was asking myself, my goodness, what I came this world for? And I never find the answer. And in the first lockdown, when the world went upside down regarding the COVID crisis,
yes.
I was in the park, I was running the park, and this idea just came along. And you have no idea how much I'm grateful for this, idea come to me, because it's something that I always want to do, but I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So the big inspiration for me is about expressing myself. It's about letting my guests express themselves as well. You have no idea how much I learn, listen to people, sharing their stories, their happiness, their challenge. So for me, it's all about connect with people. So for me, the big inspiration, it's about expressing myself and letting people express themselves as well. So for me, it's about, connect with people and see, people live the way they live their lives, the way they approach life as well, their point of views. So for me,
Yeah.
all the inspiration is about people.
Mm, that's awesome. That's wonderful. I'm
So
glad that
yeah,
you've I'm glad that you've created this platform to where you can get that from people, see all these perspectives and these different points of view. I think that's awesome.
absolutely. And I have no idea how powerful it is to connect with people around the
Mm,
group. You know what I
yes,
mean? Let them
yes,
be
yes,
about being yourself here on the show. People they feel safe. They can be themselves here. I think that's the most rewarding part.
yes. I completely agree.
Did you enjoy the interview?
Yes, this was awesome. Such a great experience.
Thanks so much for being so open and being so kind as well and accept the
Oh,
invitation.
thank you.
But before you
Yes.
go, if you can share a positive message, something that you live by.
One of the things that I tend to live by is again from that video game Final Fantasy X that I told you about. And one quote always has stuck with me since childhood. And it says, "No matter how dark the night, morning always comes, and our journey begins anew." So, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's
Yes.
always a new day, for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Darlu, thanks so
Awesome.
much for the interview and keep in touch, okay? It was a pleasure. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful
Take
day.
care.
All
Thank
righty.
you. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.